What's up everyone, my name is Sal Sincata and today we're going to talk about the importance of monitor calibration. I get it, you're a professional photographer, you got to have the best lenses, the best cameras, the best of everything, but for some odd reason, you don't calibrate your monitors. Does that make any sense? That makes absolutely no sense. In fact, it's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Honestly, not trying to beat you guys down, but somebody's got to tell you the truth. And the reality is, you spend all this time and energy from idea to capture to the equipment we have to bringing it into Lightroom to bringing it into Photoshop and editing it, and maybe you'll send it to print, maybe you'll deliver it digitally, but without a calibrated monitor, you're ensuring only one thing, that there is not consistent results in your work. Now you tell me, how could that possibly make sense? And so that's why I want to talk to you about what I do in my studio across all our monitors to ensure that we have consistent color and a consistent viewing experience. And so we use the Datacolor Spyder X2. I've been using Datacolor for years, so this is not something I'm telling you just to create some YouTube video content. This is absolutely something that as a photographer and video editor, I find it to be crucial in our business, and it just makes sense. The product itself is not that expensive, and the time it takes, I'm going to show you here in a second, I'm going to show you the results, the difference, and I'm also going to show you how quickly and easily this can be done. And so you only have to do it. I do it once a month. I get a nice little reminder that pops up on my machine that I haven't calibrated in a month. I calibrate my monitor. I keep all my machines in sync so that I know from what I see, how I edit, and how I print is all consistent. So from that perspective, this is absolutely critical. So if I've got your attention at this point, today, that's why I want to talk to you about the new Datacolor Spyder X2. Now, there's two versions, there's Elite and Ultra. I'll give you a quick overview of both of these. For the most part, they do the same thing. They're gonna calibrate your monitors, calibrate multiple monitors, calibrate a projector if you have it, right? So the software is gonna help you do that along with the hardware that work together. Now, there are two options here. Again, there's the Elite and the Ultra. This is an Ultron, right? Sounds that way. Maybe that's the first thing that went through my mind. It's a pretty cool name. Marketing team did a great job. But the Ultra is for these new monitors that are coming out that are high brightness, right? So I'm using a brand new MacBook Pro, and these things are super bright, and I would imagine that's the trend that's going to continue. But not only that, the Ultra is going to allow you to work in brighter environments, right? So if you're shooting tethered, you're working outdoors on a commercial shoot, and you need to be able to ensure that your monitor brightness is turned all the way up, but we don't want to lose color. I don't know if many of you know this, but as you turn your monitor super bright or turn it down, there's a color shift happening. And that's why this stuff is so important to have done correctly. By the way, same thing on the back of your camera. When you look at the back of your camera on that LCD screen, if you have your brightness turned all the way up, color is going to look a little bit different than if the brightness is turned down some. And so these are things you have to understand to get consistency. And that's where the Ultra comes into play. So any of those photographers or video editors that are working on or working in a super bright environment or with bright monitors, you're gonna wanna upgrade to the Ultra model. And you can upgrade the software, you could buy it outright, so there's a path there for you. But at a minimum, if you are a photographer or video editor, this to me is a no-brainer. And if you've been operating for years, investing all this money in your education, all this money in lenses, cameras, memory cards, hard drives, list goes on and what we can spend money on as a photographer. Trust me, my credit card burns on a weekly basis. This is something that absolutely should be in your bag, and it is in my bag. This is in my laptop bag. I have it with me no matter where I travel in the world, and I always ensure it's calibrated. So let me show you how easy this is. And I promise you, once you do this, you're gonna wonder how you went without it. All right, so once you open the software, the process is pretty self-explanatory. So as you can see on the screen, I'm running the Ultra software because I've got a super bright monitor in one of the new MacBook Pros. So I'm gonna select calibrate my display, but I can also do things like soft proofing, which allows me to see what images in Lightroom or Photoshop might look like on a mobile device, or might look like on different types of printers. This becomes very important if you're sending any of your work to print, whether it's a print for your home or commercial grade work. This is super important. Again, this is not just for photographers, this is both photo and video. There's nothing worse than spending all this time color grading a video only to find out it looks like crap once you upload it online. This gives you that baseline so that everything looks the way it should. The reds are the way they should look, blues are the way they should look, skin tones are the way they should look. Hyper important for you. But we're gonna start with just calibrating my display. Hit next. So on this screen, we've got options for display calibration, which is what we're gonna do right now, but we could also do a studio match where we're matching up against multiple machines in our studio. So again, this becomes very critical to your workflow. Maybe I've got a laptop, I've got a desktop, I've got maybe another laptop for another employee, right? We've all got images that are being looked at across multiple machines. All of your monitors should be calibrated. Look, I want you to think about something. This isn't an opinion or something that there is to debate. It's just factual. Apple monitors in general are bluer than the image actually is. So they're very blue when they come from the factory. Now, PC probably has its own, way that it leans, whether it's too warm or too cool, but something to keep in mind is the fact that if I were to grab 10 Apple laptops, okay, or 10 Apple displays, it's highly likely that all 10 will not look identical because they're coming from different factories at different times. And so it's the same thing for your cameras, by the way, right? I'm a Canon shooter. So let's say I had 3 Canon R5s. There is going to be variance between the sensors because they were probably produced at different times. Now the variance might be negligible, but there is a variance there. And so this is another reason why getting all of your monitors calibrated to the same baseline is, again, critical. You keep hearing me say that. But we're gonna just do display calibration here, so we'll hit next. Now, I tend to accept the defaults, so I am selecting that I have a high brightness monitor, right? We can control brightness, and we're going to calibrate our laptop. We could do a desktop, we can do a projector, also very important. Hit next, and we're just following the on-screen directions here. So now what we're gonna do is, this part is super simple. You just take this, right, out of your bag, put it over your monitor. There's a little outline there for you to put it on, and we hit continue. And this process will run through a color gamut and it'll make adjustments accordingly. You're gonna be blown away when you see the end result. That entire process, even though we sped it up, right, so we didn't go bored out of our minds looking at colors, took about 2 to 3 minutes. It is not a very time-consuming process. Now we'll just hit finish, right? I take this off, collapse it, put it back in my bag for the next time. Now you're gonna be prompted for a schedule. Again, you can do it manually whenever you like. I tend to like to do it once a month, so it'll pop up a little reminder on my computer letting me know I need to calibrate my monitor. So I do it every month. We'll save this profile, so it saves it to your local machine, and that's what your monitor is using. So we hit save, letting us know it's been saved and created. We hit next. And now we get to a screen where we can kind of see the before and after, and this is where it is most pronounced. It's funny, you'll see this once you do it. As you're calibrating, you don't really notice the difference. But once it's been calibrated and the new profile applied, you select this button and look at the difference in the images that are there. So we'll go full screen with this. So we're looking at calibrated now, uncalibrated, calibrated, uncalibrated. Keep looking at that and look at skin tones, look at highlights, look at shadows, look at the color chart. You can see a very distinct difference in the uncalibrated versus calibrated. And you can see that in a Mac monitor. Now, granted, I'm trying to show you a video of my calibrated, uncalibrated monitor on your uncalibrated monitor. So that's a problem. But you should see a difference nonetheless as I'm toggling on and off. And so this, to me, guys, I can't stress the importance of this enough. The tool itself is not that expensive. It should be in every photographer or videographer's bag. You should be calibrating all your monitors, all your equipment to ensure that you are getting precise color. We spend all this time, energy on education and craft and lighting and posing and crafting the perfect image. Why would you want to drop the ball, right, on the 2-yard line, so to speak, and fail at getting color right? So there you have it, the Data Color Spyder X2. Remember, this is both for photo and video. It is something I use every day in my business. It's something I use across all our machines, and it's something I fully endorse that every photographer and videographer should have in their bag.